In a special edition of the Chicago Report, we take a look back at the top 10 political.
Now at 9, Chicago over the moon after the Bears' big playoff win against the Packers. Now the team gets ready for the Rams. People continue to take to the streets here in protest against ICE after a deadly shooting in Minnesota and more violence on the CTA. A man stabbed on a Red Line train.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News Sunday.
And we thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider. Hard to believe it's been 15 years since the Bears won a playoff game, and they did it last night against their arch rival, the Packers. The city of Chicago still celebrating. Tina Nguyen joining us in studio to talk more about what was an amazing victory. How did they deliver that epic comeback win?
I mean, Scott, let's be honest here. You have to at some point think to yourself, when is this luck going to run out for the Chicago Bears? Such a huge win for them and one of the worst losses for the Green Bay Packers. This is a Bears team that has not played their best football. They were down 21-3 at the half, down 21-6 going into the fourth quarter. The defense, Dennis Allen made great adjustments in the second half, bringing more pressure against Green Bay and Jordan Love, playing with more DBs in the backfield, forced Green Bay to punt in the third quarter there. But the Bears offense, man, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson putting together a game plan where they scored 25 points in the fourth quarter alone. It just seems to be this team's DNA. They play their best football when the game is on the line, and to make it even better, this was a win over the Packers.
And Keyshawn Nixon, all the guys talking. Even the DC was kind of talking about telling the media in Green Bay that we're going to see you next week. So we heard that loud and clear. And like I said, man, just a hell of a win for this city.
There's probably a little bit more noise coming out of their building up north to start the week, which we heard loud and clear, players and coaches alike. So this one meant something to us.
They wanted us. That's what I heard. They wanted it, and they got it.
Okay, so listen, Ben Johnson in his introductory press conference said how much he enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice in the season. Well, he got the chance to do it today. Listen, Scott, I was getting coffee this morning, okay? At the coffee shop, me and this guy, we were talking, processing this Bears win, and he told me, I cried last night. And I said to him, you know what? I bet you a lot of grown men here cried in the city of Chicago tonight after that Bears win.
Meanwhile, we know the mission is far from over. You've got Puka Nacua, you've got Matthew Stafford, who may be the NFL's MVP. The Bears D hasn't been their strength all season long. What do they need to do to beat the Rams?
Yeah, well, listen, you've got Bears getting ready to face the Rams next weekend in the divisional round. And I know plenty of people will talk about the weather and how much this Rams team, they don't want to come here and play in this bare weather football. I don't care. This is a Rams offense that's really good. They've looked unstoppable so far this season. Matthew Stafford may not be 100% after injuring his throwing hand, but they still have Puka Nacua. They still have Devontae Adams. If the Bears defense struggled against the wide receivers for the Lions and the Packers, this is still going to be a tough test. This defense, once again, though, will need to step up. Dennis Allen, the second half adjustments we saw from, that's what this comes down to, right? The adjustments that these coaches make. But the Bears offense, man, they got to start faster somehow.
After what we saw against the Packers, anything's possible, right?
There you go. This whole season, I feel like anything's possible.
Yeah, and they're so much fun to watch.
Absolutely.
All right, Tina, thank you very much. Well, tonight we did speak to fans at First Draft. They say they're still hyped about last night's win, and they are so excited for the Rams next week.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome game.
They're going to dominate. It'll be hard, cardiac Bears like usual. Don't wait until like the fourth quarter. Don't leave early.
I had the greatest night of my life last night. It was so great to see everyone come as a city and come together and win that game. It was great. I love it all. Congratulations. Good luck to the Bears in the future. I love you guys.
Well, stay with your home of the Bears for coverage of their playoff run when we are not on air. We've got everything you need on our website, fox32chicago.com, and, of course, on the Fox local app. Let's talk about the weather, because just when things were heating up at Soldier Field last night, we saw those flurries falling. Not so much today, Emily, but the question is, will we be seeing more of the precip? Are we drying out? Are we warming up? Where are we going?
So we're going up and down this week. We kind of have roller coaster temperatures to tell you about, but also we have several chances of snow this week too, but it's more so the latter half of the week. Let's take a look at your temperatures the next couple of days. Low 40s expected tomorrow. Then we're jumping to the upper 40s, near 50 degrees on Tuesday. However, on Wednesday, falling temps. So that 38, we're going to be experiencing that in the morning. Following the morning, there's going to be strong northerly winds, and then we're going to have some lake effect snow developing Wednesday into early Thursday, and then it's really going to be feeling and looking like wintertime late this week and into the weekend. Your forecast low temperatures tonight, mid to upper 20s, so very steady temperatures, and that's where a lot of us are right now. Your outdoor forecast for Monday looking pretty good. We will end up seeing a little bit of sunshine to get your work week started, but soak it in. We don't have a lot of sun this week, and again, we have several chances of snow. Those details coming up.
Tonight, the political battle between the White House and the Federal Reserve is escalating. The Department of Justice has subpoenaed the Fed, threatening a criminal indictment. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the subpoena is related to Senate testimony that he gave about the renovation of 2 Fed office buildings. However, he says he believes it's actually about interest rates. President Trump has repeatedly criticized Powell and the Fed over its unwillingness to more aggressively cut its key interest rate. In a video message, Powell says this legal action threatens the independence of the Fed.
I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation.
Now, the DOJ maintains it cannot comment on any particular case, but added it is prioritizing investigating any abuse of taxpayer dollars. As the conversation around the death of Minnesota mom Renee Good continues, so do the protests against ICE. Our Don Hasbrook has more.
This vigil, one of many in Chicago, and what they call an ICE Out for Good weekend of action. People mobilizing across the city and Chicagoland to honor Renee Nicole Good, shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota. Indivisible Chicago Alliance chapters with coordinated action at Hollywood and Sheridan and Edgewater Sunday. All coming together all weekend to demand accountability for Good's death.
These are people, whether they're citizens or not. We care for them. This is what community means.
At Oz Park and Lincoln Park, another Indivisible Chicago chapter.
We can't be complacent, and we together can build that beloved community for Renee, for good.
Congressman Mike Quigley speaking to the group.
I was never more proud to be your neighbor.
A prayer.
We pray for peace in this world and in each of our hearts. In your mercy, look with compassion upon our immigrant neighbors and all who face injustice and violence.
And moments of silence and lighting of candles and phones in Good's memory, and of others who they say have died in ICE custody.
Say their names. Renee Nicole Good.
Renee Nicole Good.
Silverio Gonzalez.
Silverio Gonzalez.
Carlos Jimenez.
Carlos Jimenez.
Marie Angie Blaze.
Marie Angie Blaze.
Johnny Novello.
Johnny Novello.
Chao Feng Gi.
Chao Feng Gi.
Many here because they felt they had to.
It was either that or sit at home and stew or cry, or I had to do something.
Betsy Rubiner says this is community.
ICE and their behavior is not who we are, and these people are the people I think that America is. I like to think America is, and yeah, so I mean it feels good to be among like-minded people who are willing to call out evil and call out injustice.
The latest death, just another reason.
I came out because I believe that ICE is a threat to the entire country.
And this is not the first gathering for many here.
I've been coming out. I feel even more strongly about it now than I did, but I've marched in a number of marches. I'm writing, I'm talking to friends, I'm doing everything I can think of to do.
It's hard to know how to be powerful, and one of the only ways that it seems like I feel it is to collect in community and share thoughts. I love seeing everybody's homemade signs and the kind of handmade, small, imperfect actions seem to be the only and perhaps most powerful thing we can do right now.
Another protest near North Avenue Beach. They say the movement is growing and people should join the fight.
Everybody needs to contribute, so this was a step. Small steps, but every step counts.
Dawn Hasbrook, Fox Chicago News.
Chicago showing solidarity with the Iranian people. Dozens taking part in a demonstration this morning along Michigan Avenue in response to a violent crackdown on protests in Iran. For nearly 2 weeks now, protests have been taking place there with demonstrators speaking out against government corruption, inflation, and a lack of freedom. Human rights groups say a government crackdown there has claimed the lives of more than 500 people, and even more tonight are feared dead. The government has also cut off internet access. They've also cut phone lines. The Iranian community here in Chicago says they're praying for peace.
You see that we're carrying the host country's flags. We want everyone to say that we are not against you, and helping the Iranian people free themselves from this regime will put the whole world in peace.
Iran is a very important country in the Middle East, and this is very important. Mr. President Donald Trump supported Iranian people many times. We appreciate him. We do want him to continue his support.
Well, to that end, the president has been weighing a number of responses against Iran, including direct military strikes by the U.S. or Israel. Iranian officials say the parliament speaker says the U.S. military and Israel would be legitimate targets if any military action takes place. A violent weekend for the CTA continues. This time, a man is badly hurt after being stabbed on a Red Line train. Police responding just before 3 this morning. This was the scene afterwards along 69th Street. They say a 34-year-old man was on the train when he got into an argument with someone. That person then reportedly stabbed the victim in the chest with an unknown object. The victim rushed to the hospital in serious condition. Tonight, no one is in custody. It happened just a day after a man was stabbed to death at the Clark and Lake CTA station. No word tonight on what led to the stabbing. As of now, no arrests have been made. The Trump administration has threatened to cut $50 million in federal money because of violent crime on the CTA. A drug bust in suburban Cook County leads investigators to arrest 2 men and seize a number of dogs and weapons. The Cook County Sheriff releasing these images of the animals. Some were kept in very small cages. They were released. An image of the weapons and the drugs here. The Sheriff's Office says an investigation in a drug sale led them to the home in the 1400 block of Deer Creek Lane in Fort Heights last Wednesday. That's where investigators found more than a dozen dogs, along with a variety of weapons, including 6 firearms, a crossbow, even a machete. They also found more than 30 grams of crack cocaine and nearly $7,000 in cash. Jason Thomas and Jermaine Thomas were taken into custody. They were charged with drug possession and illegal possession of a weapon. If you are on Instagram, be careful. Your information may have been compromised. Coming up, we're learning more about a massive data breach. An Academy Award winner, Jodie Foster, sitting down with just one station in Chicago as she looks back on her remarkable role in Silence of the Lambs 35 years later.
Stream good.
Welcome back. If you are on Instagram, your personal information may have been exposed. There is a report from Malwarebytes that an antivirus software company says Instagram may have suffered a data breach. Our producer Ethan received an email on Saturday asking that he change his password. Now, the personal data of more than 17 million users, 17 million, apparently is at risk. This includes Instagram usernames, physical addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. Security experts recommend that users turn on two-factor authentication for their accounts, and users should also change their passwords.
You use Evian skin cream. And sometimes you wear lead at home. But not today.
It's one of the most iconic movie moments in cinema history. And now Jodie Foster sat down with only one station in Chicago to look back on her iconic role in Silence of the Lambs 35 years later. Here's Jake Hamilton.
Good morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling.
I'd love to ask you about the days spent shooting the scene where Clarice Starling meets Dr. Lecter for the first time in his cell. I just think it's some of the greatest filmmaking of all time. It's two of my all-time great performances. And I just love to know what you remember about the days shooting that sequence when Clarice first met Hannibal.
Right. Well, it is the first time that I worked with Anthony Hopkins on that day, and he was screwed into his little compartment in his prison cell because Christy Zia, the wonderful production designer, had, you know, organized this sort of subterranean look. It was all on stage. It was this subterranean look, and she really wanted these glass. She wanted it all to be in glass, which meant that there were steel rivets that kept him in his prison cell, so he couldn't leave.
The census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
And we shot all of his stuff on one day because the scenes were so long. We shot all of my stuff on the next day. And because they did this kind of like to camera point of view where the characters were looking at the camera, I never really saw him because I was behind the camera and the dolly when he was doing his stuff. And it was the opposite when I was doing mine. So it was this very weird thing of looking down the lens when he was talking to me and I could hear his voice. But what I saw in the lens was just a camera. So all of those scenes, interestingly, were two people talking to cameras separately.
And that accent you've tried so desperately to shed, pure West Virginia. What does your father do? Is he a coal miner? Does he stink of the land?
Is it true that Hannibal mocking Clarice's accent, was that ad-libbed on his part, or was all that just so good in the script that we assume it was ad-libbed?
No, that was a total improvisation on his part. I didn't see it coming, and I think you can really see the pain in my face when the other actor is making fun of my accent, you know. And it was just a wonderful moment. I think that really resonates in the movie, that he wants to hurt her in order to dominate her. You see a lot, Doctor. But are you strong enough to point that high-powered perception at yourself? And once she agrees to be open and to say, wow, you really see a lot, then he's able to say, okay, now we can have a conversation. It's a very complicated relationship, that relationship, a beautiful one between somebody who is perceived as a monster and somebody who's perceived as the hero.
That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
I'm still in training at the academy.
Jack Crawford sent a trainee to me.
Got the chills just looking at that. Speaking of chills, it was a bitter cold weekend, even for our pets. Our rescue Frenchie Coco kept warm while the flurries were flying, representing the home team in her Bears gear, cheering on Caleb Williams and the gang as they came from behind to beat the Packers last night. My question is, when the Rams come to town this weekend, I know we're looking ahead a little bit, we warming up or we cooling down?
We're definitely cooling down. So today was actually a very seasonable day for us. We had temperatures topping out in the lower 30s. Tomorrow tomorrow, Tuesday, we're heating things up. But do you see all of these precipitation chances late this week? So 70% on Wednesday, 40% Thursday and Friday. That's all for snow. We're going to have multiple systems kind of swinging through, and our Wednesday to Thursday deal that we have is all going to be lake effect. So temperatures outside right now, many of us are sitting in the mid to upper 20s. This is where we're going to stay throughout the overnight, so very seasonable conditions expected out there currently. But tonight, again, we're staying very steady, and then going into tomorrow morning, that's when we're expecting temperatures to slowly begin to warm up. So we're going to be in the lower 40s for your highs tomorrow. Good news about your Monday is that we're in for at least a little bit of sunshine. Skies are going to become partly cloudy. And then going into Monday night and early Tuesday, notice how temperatures remain very, very mild. And then looking ahead to Tuesday, we actually have highs that are going to be pretty close to 50. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple spots actually tag 50 degrees, but it could be coming along with at least the chance of some scattered rain shower activity going into your Tuesday midday hours, lasting into the afternoon. And then after Tuesday, that's when we are flipping the switch back to wintertime. So you're probably looking at Wednesday thinking, okay, 38 isn't that bad. Well, that's where we're going to be in the morning. That's going to go in the books as your high temperatures. Falling temperatures are expected through the day. And there's still some questions on whether it's going to be northwest Indiana or northeastern Illinois that's going to see accumulating lake effect snow. But one of the two going to get it. Wednesday into Thursday, we'll have highs at 28 degrees on Thursday. By Friday, we have another chance of snow with a high of 34. Scott.
Good sign is folks across the country continue to get hit with the flu. Plus, many parents give their teenage kids a hard time for sleeping in on the weekend. But this might actually be good for their mental health. And kids are getting hurt while taking part in a TikTok challenge. One mom breaks down exactly how it went wrong.
Good Day Chicago won't wait.
Well, kids are ending up in the hospital with burns on their hands, and all because they're lighting themselves on fire for TikTok. Doctors warning the consequences can be permanent, even deadly. Tia Ewing has more.
Just in case you guys were wondering, here's how to safely set your hand on fire. And then just put your hand in. And yeah, that's, ow, it's not working.
The videos are blowing up all over TikTok. Teens setting their hands on fire using hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol, a lighter, and suddenly there are flames. It may look like fun and games, but doctors warn the consequences can be life-changing.
About 45 to 50% of her face, second-degree burn.
And her hands.
Her hands.
This mother from the south suburbs who doesn't want to show her face shared these photos of her daughter with us. Her face burned and her hands badly injured. The 13-year-old's hands were on fire. The flames then spread to the alcohol bottle, exploded in her face, and caught part of the home on fire too.
My mom called me and said that the kitchen cabinets were on fire and that my daughter had burned herself.
The single mom rushed her 13-year-old daughter here to U Chicago Medicine Ingalls in Calumet City.
And they explained to me that they had to wipe the skin off of her face so they would be able to apply the cream and ointment to her face.
When you search online, dozens of similar stories appear. Teens seriously burned trying some of these challenges. Emergency room doctors say these injuries are becoming more common and more severe. Dr. Chris Colbert, former assistant program director at the University of Illinois, says the challenge could be fatal.
You can have a rush of flame, a spread of flame that is not intended, that can extend into the face and to the eyes.
For this mom,
my life has changed drastically since then.
She says time is ticking before someone else gets hurt, and she wants to warn other parents.
I want to warn parents, and I want them to sit down with their kids to let them know that they don't have to partake in everything they see on social media.
Tia Ewing reporting. Doctors and fire officials are urging parents to talk to your kids about the real dangers behind these type of viral challenges, especially when they involve fire, chemicals, or household products. Experts recommend monitoring social media activity, and they also remind teens that online trends are often edited to hide injuries. If a burn does happen, seek immediate medical attention. Well, flu cases are actually on the decline, but health officials remain skeptical as to whether the peak season is now upon us. New government data posted Friday shows drops in medical office visits due to flu-like illness. The number of states reporting high flu activity also seems to be leveling off. However, some experts say the severity of this year's flu season has surpassed last year. The CDC estimates there have been at least 15 million flu illnesses, 180,000 hospitalizations, and 74 deaths. The first child flu fatality here in Illinois announced just last week. Getting some extra Z's over the weekend may be good for the mental health of teenagers. Researchers analyzed bedtime and wake-up times of about 1,000 16 to 24-year-olds over a 2-year stretch. And what they found was those who slept more over the weekend had a 41% lower risk of experiencing depression. Health experts recommend adolescents get 8 to 10 hours of sleep regularly. The findings appear in the Journal of Affective Disorders. The civil trial against Boeing set to get underway tomorrow here in Chicago. There were 2 deadly plane crashes in 2018 and 19. We are speaking with one family about why they believe this is their only shot at justice.
And the start of January has been a little milder than average, but we're going to start to see a pattern flip-flop here late this week, and then that's going to last right on through next week as well. Those details coming up.
It's the final.
We're following several top stories tonight. ICE protests continue nationwide and here in Chicago. People taking part in a vigil at Oz Park, a demonstration near North Avenue Beach, and a protest in Edgewater. Everyone honoring Renee Nicole Good, who was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota last week. Yet another violent incident on the CTA. A man seriously injured after being stabbed on a Red Line train just this morning. Police responding just before 3 a.m. along West 69th. They say the victim was stabbed after getting into some type of argument with somebody. No arrests have been made. And it's been a bizarre weekend. It's been bitterly cold. We've had snow. We've had a lot of wind. And now, apparently, a little bit of a bump in temperatures, but don't get too comfy with that, says Emily, who's sitting beside me.
Yeah, we can't get too comfy with that. It's just going to be like a 2-day deal for us. And then late this week, we're throwing ourselves back into January-like conditions. So we have several rounds of snow in your forecast. I think the first one's going to come our way Wednesday into Thursday, and that's going to be more so a lake effect event. So this is one of those deals where depending on exactly what that wind direction is, it's going to determine who gets hit with accumulating snowfall and who just gets a dusting or maybe nothing at all. Today, we topped out at 34. Your average is 32, so we were fairly seasonable. Currently, we're sitting in the mid to upper 20s, and that's about where we're going to stay throughout the overnight. So steady temperatures expected tonight going into early tomorrow morning. It is going to get gusty, though. It's already a little breezy out there. But tonight we're going to have west-southwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Wind gusts tonight as high as about 25. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, dry skies, a little bit of sunshine, 42 degrees for your high, 48. Some rain showers possible late Tuesday. Then on Wednesday we have falling temps, and then that snow is going to develop by late in the day. Back to you.
The civil trial against Boeing is set to begin here in Chicago tomorrow. You may recall Boeing took a plea deal back in 2024 to avoid a criminal trial. 2 fatal plane crashes in 2018 and 2019 resulted in the worldwide grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX jet. Fox Chicago's Brett Bagansky shows us why, for one family, this is their only shot at justice.
March 10th, 2019. A Boeing 737 MAX plane in Ethiopia crashes. 157 people were on board. No one survived.
There are families here who are stuck on anger. They'll never, ever get over what happened.
Like Nadia Milron, who spoke outside a federal court in Texas in September.
My daughter died on a new airplane that was defective and that was in operation because they weren't complying with regulations and because of fraud.
Boeing agreed to a $2.5 billion settlement with the Justice Department and another $1.1 billion in fines and compensation for the crash victims' families. Boeing pleaded guilty to defrauding the government for 2 fatal crashes in 2018 and 2019, including the crash in Ethiopia. Milron felt without a criminal trial, there's no accountability for Boeing, which is why some are filing their own lawsuits against Boeing, including the family of U.S. Army Captain Antoine Lewis from Madison, Illinois.
Antoine wanted to retire from the military and live somewhere in Africa. He didn't know where. He was visiting different places to find out where.
The family settled their lawsuit last April, but starting Monday, a new one with a different family.
3 generations of a family were wiped out. We are talking about claims that are multi-million dollars, tens of millions of dollars, even hundreds of millions of dollars.
Robert Clifford is representing Minot Veja, who is suing Boeing in federal court here in Chicago for the deaths of his mother, father, and sister. He also lost his nieces and nephew, one as young as 9 months old, in the plane crash.
Boeing stumbles over itself to say how sorry they are, but they never once will acknowledge what they're sorry about.
Do they feel this civil trial is their only shot at accountability?
Well, certainly for this particular family, the answer is yes.
In a statement to Fox Chicago, Boeing said in part, "We are deeply sorry to all those who lost loved ones on Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302. We made an upfront commitment to fully and fairly compensate the families of those who were lost and have accepted legal responsibility for the accidents in these proceedings."
Clifford told me he expects jury selection to start Monday at 8:30 in the morning, and he expects that opening statements could begin as early as Tuesday. We're outside the Dirksen Federal Building. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
Music world tonight mourning the loss of one of the founding members of the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir. A statement on his website says he was diagnosed with cancer back in July, but beat it. However, he succumbed to underlying lung issues. He's credited with helping push traditional American blues and folk music into the modern era. His more popular songs include the classics Playing in the Band, Cassidy, Sugar Magnolia, and Truckin'. Weir was 78.
Latino in next in sports. The city of Chicago is still buzzing after the Bears' 31-27 win over the Packers last night as Caleb Williams led the Bears to their 7th fourth-quarter comeback win this season. Find out who the Bears will play next in the divisional round. Keep it right here on Fox Chicago.
No matter how
Snap back, four-man rush. Caleb with a double move, throw down the left sideline. DJ Moore inside the 5, end zone, touchdown, touchdown Bears. They've taken the lead on the Packers.
Do you feel this shaking a little bit? I do. I've done 31 games in the stadium. It's the first time I feel it shaking like this.
The Bears have come from all the way behind, and they beat the Green Bay Packers. All the ghosts of 15 seasons has been released into this cold January night. Bears are going to the divisional round, baby. Wow.
Be honest with me. Are you still stunned? Because I am. The Bears erased a 15-point fourth-quarter deficit to stun the Packers 31-27 in the NFC wildcard round last night. A tale of two halves for the Bears as Green Bay looked in control for most of the game, leading 21-6 late in the fourth quarter. But if there's one thing we've learned about the Bears this season, you can never count this team out. Caleb Williams orchestrated a furious comeback, throwing a 25-yard go-ahead TD to DJ Moore. With just over a minute left, Williams finished with 361 yards passing. And the Bears defense, well, they made crucial stops when it mattered most. This marks the Bears' first playoff victory in 15 years as they are moving on to the divisional round.
Once he made that play to Rome, I knew he was going to win the game. It was just only a matter of time that he was going to make another play. He's just a special player. You know, in these situations, when the game is on the line and we need him to make a play, he's always there. That's why we call him Iceman.
I think when he hit that, we were all like, we're winning this game. Like, and that was like all right, we're going to win this one. But yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic, special player, and awesome for him to show that on the national stage.
coach said in the headset, "I need you right here, and go make a play, kid." And we went out there and we did just that.
That's right. More playoff football in Chicago. AFC wild card here. Bills visiting the Jags late in the fourth quarter. Bills near the goal line. Tush push, and Josh Allen scores. Buffalo leads 27-24. This one came down to the wire. Jags, they still got a chance here. Trevor Lawrence, though, is picked off here over the middle on the deflection. The Bills hang on for a 27-24 victory, their first playoff road win in how long? How long? You want to guess? I'll just tell you. 33 years. Yeah, it's been a while. All right. NFC wildcard round here, 49ers and the Eagles. Windy day in Philly. The grounds crew having some issues here with the American flag before the game. Oh, that's tough. Late in the fourth quarter, 49ers down 2, 3rd and goal. Brock Purdy buys time and hits Christian McCaffrey for the score. NBD, San Francisco takes the lead. Eagles need a TD to lead. 4th down here, game on the line. Jalen Hurts fired. Yeah, that's picked off. Down go the defending champ. San Francisco pulls off the upset 23-19. So the Bears now know who they will be playing next weekend. It is the LA Rams when the game will be happening and where it will be broadcast. That is still to be determined. We'll find out soon enough. And of course, we'll tell you here on Fox Chicago. But either way, Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, the Rams, they are coming to Soldier Field. All right, let's go hoops here. Big Ten hoops, to be specific. 16th ranked Illinois on the road against Iowa. Second half, Illini up 10. Keaton Wagler for 3 here. The freshman sensation drills it. A team-high 19 points, under 2 to go. Illini lead down to 4. Kylan Boswell drives and the finish there. Illini win 75-69 and improve to 13-3 on the season. Their best start since the 2021 to 2022 season. Northwestern out east, taking on Rutgers. Game went into OT. Rutgers up 2. Tariq Francis drives and one off the glass. Scarlet Knights go up 5. 5 seconds to go. Cats with a chance to tie it. Jake West drives, but his shot is blocked. Time runs out. Northwestern falls 77-75 and are still looking for their first Big Ten victory of the season. Don't forget, CST follows after the news here at 9. I'll be on the show with Lou Canellis, ESPN's Courtney Cronin, and Marquis' Nick Moriano will recap the crazy Bears comeback win last night and look ahead to what next week we'll have in store for the Bears against the Rams. Lastly, Caleb Williams took his celebration here to another level, playfully trolling the Packers by wearing a cheese grater hat and even grating, the real cheese on live TV, the facial expression there from your quarterback. I mean, what an incredible crowd there out there at Soldier Field. A nod to Green Bay's iconic cheesehead tradition. I mean, this moment quickly went viral. All right, we're back with more after this break.
Well, housing costs keep going up, so the city of Chicago is trying to slow that down by building more affordable housing. Fox Chicago's Terrence Lee shows why it's happening in North Lawndale and why it matters citywide.
Today represents something different. It represents intentional development. Development that centers the people who already call this community home.
Centering people starts with place, and place starts with where you put it. 3353 West Douglas, set quiet for years. But soon, this vacant lot will transform into 7 two-flats, a reset for a block that saw endings but no beginnings.
Once upon a time, politicians were very much committed to the destruction and destabilization of this neighborhood. And so we have moved from destruction to now construction.
That shift is part of a city plan. The city calls it Missing Middle Infill Housing, filling in what's been missing in the middle. The program started last fall, and the focus is on small multi-unit homes that fit right into existing neighborhoods.
We should be working right here in our neighborhood, making sure that we change our community, that we change the face of this next generation. Because when this next generation is coming up and they seeing mayhem, but when they see young men and women working in their community, they have a different outlook.
City officials say that outlook connects to who can buy these homes. They are for buyers making up to 140% of an area median income. The cap targets working families priced out in other parts of the city.
Real estate is a very special asset class. It's tangible. It's something residents can touch, feel, and see. When done correctly, investing into the built environment allows us to achieve multiple outcomes all at once.
Mayor Johnson says public money makes that possible. The city is putting up to $150,000 into each unit. These renderings show small two-flats designed to blend in with the block. The city says adding homes here helps ease pressure citywide, building up instead of pushing out. Terrence Lee, Fox Chicago.
Almost at the midway point of January, and we are on a bit of a roller coaster ride, Emily.
That's right. So today we were actually very seasonable for this time of the year, but tomorrow and Tuesday we're back to above average, and we're actually going to come pretty close to 50 degrees by Tuesday. Soak it in while it lasts, because once we get into Wednesday, we have a strong cold front coming through. Wind direction is going to change. Falling temperatures are expected on Wednesday. So that high of 38, I think that's during the morning hours. We're dropping through the day. We'll have lake effect bands developing, and there's still some details that we have to work out, like exactly what the wind direction is going to be. Is it going to have that northeasterly wind component or a northwesterly wind component? And I know that that sounds like a very minor thing that we have to figure out, but that's going to determine where we're seeing the accumulating snowfall from that lake effect, whether it's going to be northwest Indiana or northeast Illinois. But it looks like one of us is going to be dealing with several inches of snow being possible Wednesday night, and then lasting into your day on Thursday. Satellite and radar. Things are quiet for now. We do have partly to mostly cloudy conditions overhead. Temperatures out there sitting in the mid to upper 20s. And they're actually expected to stay put throughout the overnight. So then by daybreak tomorrow, we're getting kind of a head start to the warmth, because average for this time of the year when it comes to your lows is right around 19 degrees, and we're waking up in the upper 20s. Then through the day, we're counting on that west-southwesterly wind. That's going to bring in that warmer air, low 40s for your highs. And then by Tuesday, it's going to get even warmer, but we do have the chance of some rain developing during the afternoon into the early evening hours. So those temperatures in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees, it could be coming along with a couple rain chances. For tonight, 27 degrees, that's where your temperatures already are. Your 7-day forecast, tomorrow 42, partly cloudy. On Tuesday, we're going to be right around 48 degrees. We do have that chance of rain. Wednesday, we have that lake effect band that's set to develop, so accumulating snowfall going to be possible in parts of the area Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday's highs in the 20s, and then looking forward to this upcoming weekend, stays very winter-like. We keep those snow chances around Friday and again on Saturday. By Sunday, Scott, we're only looking at highs in the upper teens. So it's getting much chillier early next week.
Thought we were done with that. I guess not. All right, thanks, Emily. Some highly anticipated movies set to hit theaters in this new year, including some fun sequels. We've got your sneak peek next.
Patrick Dempsey in memory.
A lot of highly anticipated films heading to theaters this year, including some fun sequels. Here's Ashley Dvorkin.
Hey, big guy! Family-friendly franchises return in 2026.
Maybe the biggest genre is family this year. Super Mario Brothers has a sequel that it looks really great. The Cat in the Hat has a film. There's a live-action version of Moana. There's also a Narnia film from Greta Gerwig, who directed Barbie. Pixar's got a movie called Hoppers, another Toy Story movie as well.
Jumanji?
And some of them, yeah, there's a Jumanji movie. The whole cast is returning for that, too.
Let's go to horror movies. Very excited for us to get more of 28 Years Later. This time we have director Nia DaCosta, and we do have Alex Garland as a writer on it. We're going to get a little more of the story of that bone temple that we were introduced to last time, Ray Fiennes' character, and kind of a discovery in this post-apocalyptic world of the infected that might change everything.
This is it.
For those who like scary movies, there's Scream 7 and The Bride.
A Bonnie and Clyde kind of story, but starring Frankenstein and the Bride. Frankenstein's played by Christian Bale. The Bride is played by Jessie Buckley. It's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. And like some of the original Warner Brothers films last year, like Weapons and Sinners, again, another ferociously original, unique take on a story that we know or we think we know, starring two of the great actors of our time.
Among other big films are Avengers Doomsday, The Mandalorian, and Grogu, and more, which are predicted to be big hits.
Michael Jackson is getting a movie this year. I think this could be one of the biggest movies of the year globally. There's a new Hunger Games movie, Sunrise on the Reaping. If you are looking for a movie like what is the Valentine's movie, Wuthering Heights.
Plus, The Devil Wears Prada 2, Practical Magic 2, just to name a few more of the many movies heading our way. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
We're back after the break.
Put your moderate to severe ulcerative
Don't you love when local business shows a little love for the local team? That's what happened after the Bears' amazing victory last night. This is the Wiener Circle, and the sign says it all. Great, greater, greatest. They posted on Friday that should the Bears win the Super Bowl, all the players on the team get free dogs for life. Everyone who attends the parade gets a free hot dog, as if you and I needed an excuse to go on down to the parade. I'll take it. How about you?
Yeah. And for those of you that maybe didn't see the video, if you're just listening to the newscast, it was Grater, like Grater.
Yes. We're out of time. Thanks for joining us. Good Day Chicago tomorrow morning at 4:30. And Chicago Sports Tonight is straight ahead.
Good night.
Ring in the savings at Ashley's.